get going with my title match. I have an apology for the fans of the PWA. Last week we had that main event. We had that huge Donnybrook at the end, didn't we? And I know a lot of fans are mad at me because they felt that I took liberties with the towel boy. I didn't. What I want to apologize is, I want to apologize that Randy came in the ring and ruined my match. Randy got the towel boy DQ'd. Randy should be suspended for the entire night. Now you're going to see that big spoon come out later, but I guarantee you, like Joe Namath in the Super Bowl, you will not see Randy in the Battle Royal. You're going to see me win that Battle Royal. I'm going to kick everybody's butt in the back, and that big spoon is going to be sitting at home. They're going to send him home. That Randy ruined my match. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sick and tired of that big spoon coming out here. Now, we got some lovely ladies down front. How we doing, ladies? I'm sure they're going to bring a big stud out here to whoop my butt. So why don't we see what happens?
Introducing his opponent, the challenger, at a weight of 232 pounds, from Boston, Massachusetts. He is a former three-time holder of the PWA Tag Team titles, gorgeous Morgan Taylor.
Hello fans, Aaron Hurd here. Starting things off with a very big match. Tony James risking the heavyweight championship against gorgeous Morgan Taylor. Certainly an interesting diatribe from the Outlaw. We'll try to react to some of those topics and address them as the program goes on. Right now, senior official Johnny Long is ready to ring the bell. James very cautious about locking up with Morgan Taylor. We've seen a significant change in one Mr. Taylor since he captured the United States Championship a short while ago. Big scoop and a slam there from James. Call it confidence. I don't know, call it coming to its senses, call it whatever you want. Oh, Morgan Taylor at the moment getting pounded by Tony James. We're going to go from here. Taylor trying to fight it. Oh, stomp to the hamstrings from the devious Tony James. But fans are certainly reacting much differently to Morgan Taylor than they once did. As you hear the fans rooting Morgan Taylor on. As much because of the change of attitude that I've been referencing, as it is the desire to see someone, anyone, get that belt off the waist of Tony James. James able to avoid the charge, and Taylor collided rather violently with the ring post, and a kick right to the mouth, and a big leg drop down across the chest. Not quite enough to put James away, but making several attempts at a pinfall here. Making his opponent exert significant energy, trying to keep his shoulders off the mat. Not much on that forearm uppercut, but it was enough to get James back into one corner. Taylor whips him to the opposite corner. Connects with a couple of jabs. Point of the elbow. Right to the top of the head there. Snapmare. Oh, and Taylor can drop the leg as well. Nonchalant cover, though. James with a block and thumbs to the eyes. Showing utter disdain, not just for the rules, but for his opponent. Referee saying if Taylor is able to continue, could have severely hampered his vision. Crisscross. Drop down from James. Up and over goes Morgan Taylor. Blocks the hip toss. And smartly counters with one of his own. Unable to connect with that elbow drop, and James quickly back to his feet and back on the offense. James likes to use that Texas cloverleaf to finish off an opponent, and he's possibly on the way to setting up for that very hold. Starting to work on the knee of Morgan Taylor. He's going here. All he's got to do is that right there to clamp on the figure four. Taylor quite a bit of distance from the refuge of the ropes, but James able to use his proximity to those ropes in his favor, getting all that extra leverage, but Taylor able to roll over and reverse the pressure, and now James needs those ropes to force the referee to break. Taylor gamely pulls himself back to his feet. Nice reversal by James. Looks like James may be starting to wear down Morgan Taylor. Still trying to find his feet completely as a singles wrestler. But if he pulls the upset here, he will erase any and all doubts. Honestly, it seemed like Tony James was more concerned with the Battle Royal we have scheduled for tonight's main event than he was Morgan Taylor. Maybe starting to regret that. As Taylor's been able to stay on the champion. Stretching out the shoulders and the neck. Oh, but great counter by James. Oh, but he's got that boot right across the throat. Referee has no choice but to put the 5 count on James, and he's right back to the eyes. Nothing you can do to train to protect your eyes. Taylor avoids the clothesline. Really connected with that jab. Oh, drop kick. Might not be enough to put away James. He's going to have to follow up here with the cover. Wait a minute. L.A. Cordova. You'd suspect it was only a matter of time before he involved himself in his proceedings, but Tony James just levels Taylor with the lariat.
Ladies and gentlemen, still the PWA Heavyweight Champion, Outlaw Tony James.
Well, apart from that distraction at the conclusion of the match there, which led to Tony James earning the victory, Morgan Taylor acquitted himself quite well in this championship match, but as you see, it is Tony James once again walking out with that title. Tony James with the victory and thus retains the PWA Heavyweight Championship. He certainly had some bold statements to make prior to that match with challenger gorgeous Morgan Taylor, and James' victory clearly a result of the intervention of L.A. Cordova. Morgan Taylor going to be in the Battle Royal in our main event, as is L.A. Cordova, as well as Tony James and many, many others. But it seems to me, at least, that the issues between Morgan Taylor and Cordova are escalating to the point where they will have to be settled sooner rather than later. But as I said, fans, that big Battle Royal is our main event. But when we come back from this break, we are going to have the U.S. title on the line. PWA fans, Aaron Hurd here with you. If you like what you are seeing on YouTube, then don't miss the opportunity to see the action live and in person the first Saturday of every month at the PWA Arena, 737 Slocum Avenue in Lancaster. Premier Wrestling Alliance is in action, plus select dates in towns near you. Check out PWAOhio.com for tickets for not just the arena events, but all events. Arena events start at $5. And that's PWAOhio.com for all of your ticket information. Jeffrey John and his manager Nick Stevens set to go with our next contest. Comes his opponent, the United States champion, Real Deal Kevin Pruitt. These two men faced off in a recent edition of the program in an impromptu title match. Nick Stevens threw out the challenge on behalf of his client there. Not only were we featuring the heavyweight championship in our opening contest, the United States title will once again be at risk here on PWA Wrestling on YouTube. Theoretically, Jeffrey John, with more time to prepare with the traditional 45-minute time limit, is on a more even playing field than he found himself last time. Whether that actually pays dividends, we will, of course, find out once this match gets underway here. Kevin Pruitt wisely taking his time. Making Jeffrey John think just a little bit longer. There goes the belt. Fans, I hate to turn our attention away from this important match here, but the president of the PWA, the franchise player Chris Pruitt, has just taken a seat next to me here at the broadcast position. What brings you out here? What comments do you have for our fans?
You know, I didn't want to interrupt this match. We've got a great match here. Kevin Pruitt, my son, U.S. champion against Jeffrey John. At the top of the show, though, I heard the Outlaw Tony James, the current PWA heavyweight champion, make some comments, and if I could, I'd like to address them at this time.
Oh, German suplex. No bridge, all impact.
Let me tell you something. That boy right there, he is one of the top in the PWA, and that's why he's U.S. champion. But Outlaw Tony James, he said that he wanted a couple things. He said, number one, he wanted Randy suspended tonight. I want to make sure everyone understands Randy is not suspended tonight. Randy will be in the Battle Royal, and I'll tell you a man that won't be in the Battle Royal, and that will be the Outlaw Tony James. The Outlaw Tony James is not in the Battle Royal tonight. The winner of the Battle Royal is going to get an opportunity at Tony James at our next big Fairgrounds event, so he cannot be the man to wrestle himself.
Well, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you've made all the right calls. Those are some outrageous demands on the part of the champion, Tony James. Despite the fact that he was able to defend his title once again, he does not necessarily have the clout to call his own shot the way that he tried to do. So just to clarify for all the fans, Randy is... Not only is he not suspended, which is a ridiculous notion in and of itself, but he will compete in the Battle Royal, and the winner of that match will face Tony James.
And either one of these men here, Kevin Pruitt or Jeffrey John, they could be that man. So not only that, but Outlaw Tony James here as of late, he's been last few months, he bought that very beautiful belt, the Outlaw Championship title, and he wants it to represent the Premier Wrestling Alliance. And effective immediately, Outlaw Tony James is no longer going to be bringing that belt to ringside. He can bring that belt to ringside, but he's going to start wearing the PWA Heavyweight Championship. And if not, I'm going to strip him of that championship.
A great maneuver there by Kevin Pruitt, able to... I was going to say it was an excellent counter, but then he got caught coming off that top rope with the European uppercut. But once again...
That's why they call them high-risk moves, Aaron.
Indeed, at any time.
Well, if I can, I've got one more final thing. The Outlaw Tony James has been bringing his cowbell to ringside since as long as I've known him. And here, Nick Stevens. You know what? I tell you what, I'm gonna have to have a look into Nick Stevens being at ringside, because if he's gonna do stuff like that just to try to get a one-up for his man. Speaking of getting a one-up for your man, Outlaw Tony James has been bringing that cowbell to ringside for as long as I've known him. But here lately, he's been using that a lot more, either to get himself disqualified or to get the advantage over his opponent, and a lot of times get a win. Effective immediately also, Outlaw Tony James will no longer be allowed to bring that cowbell to ringside in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Well, I tell you what, Mr. Pruitt, I am excited by everything that I have heard from you, and our fans should be as well, because all of these situations are ones that needed rectified, and your swift decision-making has done quite a bit to set things right in rather short order. So you definitely deserve credit for that. And yes, Tony James is going to have to go back to the drawing board, it seems, on his attempts to tilt the scales in his favor, and we cannot wait to see what happens in that main event. Can we confirm that these two men are, in fact, entered in that match?
Absolutely, and not only are they entered in the match, I've had some of the guys come up to me since I became president a few months ago, and they want to know, where's my opportunity, where's my title shot, why am I being overlooked, and all this stuff like that. Oh, I'm here to tell each and every one of them, this is your opportunity. If you haven't had the greatest win-loss record, this is your chance. No matter what, if you are the last man in the ring, you will be... Oh, Kevin... Oh!
Lots of impact on that dive.
And I see the high-risk maneuvers, sometimes they pay off, and that time it paid off for Kevin.
Well, I believe John was momentarily distracted having words with some of our fans.
Well, so bottom line, I don't want to hear any more of the crying. If you want an opportunity at a title shot, this is it. Winner takes all. One man will walk out, and they will get a title match against Tony James coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Aaron, I'm sorry for interrupting. I appreciate this time. and we'll see you here real soon, Aaron.
No, thank you for joining us. And as we have said, that was all very important information and music to the ears of many of the fans, perhaps not to some of the people that he addressed. But let's return to this, what has become a very intense match. We do not mean to shortchange these two men in any way, but it is important to note that, as we heard, regardless of the outcome of this match, the loser will have an opportunity to earn another title shot. The winner could go on to become a double champion should the U.S. title holder prevail and advance to face Tony James. Just adding another level of importance to the next time we are at the fairgrounds. It's always a momentous occasion. Once again, Jeffrey John taking his attention away from his opponent. Pruitt valiantly fighting back. These two men have been laying into each other in this match. Their rivalry has gotten incredibly personal as it has evolved. But that's exactly what makes these two competitors so exciting. The intensity with which they compete. To be a U.S. champion, oh my goodness, huge Frankensteiner. All the way off the top rope. Nick Stevens surreptitiously placing Jeffrey John's foot on the rope to break up what would have been a sure pinfall. These men are pulling out all of the stops. Nick Stevens appeared to have tossed something. Jeffrey John apparently out to retrieve whatever it is. Certainly doesn't bode well for Kevin Pruitt. This is a standard operating procedure for these two, specifically Nick Stevens. The obsequious, obese manager. And John in position. Robinson special. Pruitt with the will to win. Reaches back, hooks the leg. Still your U.S. champion. Believe it or not, fans, we've got even more action to come. We've seen the heavyweight title. We've seen the United States title. And now we're going to see a battle royal with some very high stakes. Oh. Apparently Jeffrey John alerts the official use of that object. He was the one who, of course, introduced it to the match. Kevin going to be the victim of circumstance here.
Referee John Long has reversed his decision and awards this match by disqualification to Jeffrey John. However, still your PWA champion, real deal Kevin Pruitt.
But as you saw, fans, I was summoned to ringside there to clarify this situation. Kevin Pruitt with the pinfall over his challenger, Jeffrey John, but the chicanery on the part of Nick Stevens and Jeffrey John leading to the result being overturned. John, your winner by disqualification, and it is likely that that result will earn him a rematch. But we'll see how everything plays out after the Battle Royal we have in tonight's main event, which will be next.
Franchise player Chris Pruitt here for the PWA School of Professional Wrestling. Do you want to be a wrestler, a manager, a ring announcer, a commentator, a referee? The PWA School of Professional Wrestling is your opportunity. 737 Slocum Avenue in Lancaster, Ohio. Tryouts are absolutely free from 4 to 6 p.m. on Sunday, 7 to 9 on Tuesday. Come on down, try it out. See if you got what it takes to be the next big star.
It is now time for tonight's main event, fans, and over the top rope battle royal to determine the number one contender for the
Many intriguing elements at play in this battle royal. Let's address some of them here. The fact that Nick Stevens is an official entrant in this could become quite the X factor. He joins the two members of his faction or clan or support group, whatever you want to call these guys that are calling themselves the Gold Standard. They had the LA Cordova and Jeffrey John each had the opportunity to live up to said moniker. Another man that you see, the man with the mask, Mr. USA, somewhat of an enigma as of late here in the PWA. We have not featured him on the program. He's only made sporadic appearances, but not much is known about his identity or background. So he could be one of the other variables that make this battle royal even more interesting. The tag team champions, both in there. Morgan Taylor, who appeared somewhat the worse for wear as he made his way to the ring from the previous match. Jeffrey John and Kevin Pruitt go right back to hooking it up after just finishing a grueling contest. Somewhat different look from Randy the Rowdy Hillbilly in there. Cody Blades gets some comeuppance for trying to take a cheap shot. Action all over the place here. It's always difficult to keep track of everything that's going on, but we have a couple more newcomers. You see Blaze working with Rocket Josh Benson, recent graduate of the training program. man in the black singlet, curly hair, working on Tommy Forte is Big Joe Black. Both these men should have a lot of raw athletic potential. Bjorn is quite naturally going to be the target of a lot of attention as him and Lafferty team up to dish out some punishment to, as I said, the newest addition to the roster here, Josh Benson. Mr. USA trying to dump Ellie Cordova out. Jordan Carlisle mixing up with Randy. Carlisle made a great showing in a non-title opportunity against the U.S. champion. None of the competitors eliminated as of yet. Remind everybody that you have to go over the top rope with both feet touching the floor to be officially eliminated. And the last man standing goes on to our next major event at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds with the opportunity of a lifetime to face champion Tony James for that title. As we heard, Tony James banned from using that cowbell that's been so ubiquitous in his matches. As you heard from the franchise player, has led to many victories for our champion. Quite a bit of audacity from Tony James to kick off our program with all the demands that he made, but those were all nullified by the decisive actions of franchise player Chris Pruitt, who announced this battle royal on our last episode as a result of the chaos that erupted in that lumberjack match that we had. JT Hogg, scheduled to face Tony James, was scratched at the last minute with a still mysterious but clearly debilitating injury. Tommy Forte chosen to take his place. The lumberjack stipulation added to hopefully even things in the favor of the challenger. Having to take the match on such short notice, but as I just alluded to, it became the epitome of a Pier 6 brawl. Try and reset the scene here. Jimmy Fahrenheit, man, who could benefit quite handsomely from a victory under these circumstances. Hasn't been in the mix of the championship scene quite at the level that he and the fans are used to. And that's no slight on Mr. Fahrenheit. It's just indicative of how deep the roster is and how talented many of these men are. Benson goes up and over. First man to be eliminated. I've seen Kevin Pruitt stave off elimination quite spectacularly on a couple of occasions here. Teamwork from Randy and Jimmy to take out our other newcomer, Big Joe Black. But there will be other days ahead for those two men. Bjorn got caught and sent staggering back into the rope, still trying to regain his bearings. Again, coordinating with his championship partner, Lafferty, who relishes in the brutality that this battle royal environment creates. Mr. USA takes Cody Blaze out of the equation. Flaherty just hitting anything that moves. Again, Pruitt trying to hold on, avoid elimination here. Tommy Forte now blubbering away on Bjorn. Takes him into the turnbuckle. It's going to take more than one man to get Bjorn far enough off his feet to let gravity take over and dump him to the floor. Jimmy Fahrenheit, Jordan Carlisle. Those two men hooking it up in one portion of the ring. And Cordova, yes, he was eliminated by none other than Morgan Taylor. Got to be quite satisfied with that, does Mr. Taylor, after coming up short in the title match. Oh, Randy! Oh, both Randy and Lafferty out over the top rope. An instance where the height of Randy was a slight detriment, as once his upper body got going over that top rope, there was no way he could regain his balance. But perhaps, fortunately for the rest of the competitors remaining in this match, Lafferty out as well. Bjorn appears to have been eliminated as well. Apologize for not catching who the responsible party was for that, but we're now getting down to the men who... Oh, goodness! Huge spine buster there from Tommy Forte to Kevin Pruitt. Forte, a former U.S. champion. Pruitt, the current U.S. champion, sent out by Jimmy Fahrenheit. As I was attempting to say, as the action began to pick back up, they're getting picked off one by one here. Mr. USA officially eliminated, down to Jordan Carlisle, Tommy Forte, and Jimmy Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit from behind gets them both over the top. Spectacular victory here to close the program. Jimmy Fahrenheit puts his name on the contract for the title match. The event upcoming at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds. Hopefully no hard feelings between him and Tommy Forte, because it is always every man for himself in these conditions. You just saw tonight's main event. Jimmy Fahrenheit, by virtue of that victory, is now officially the next challenger for the heavyweight champion, Outlaw Tony James. That match is scheduled to take place here in 2 weeks on the program. But right now, before we go, fans, we can tell you about the main event for next week. Nick Stevens wasted no time in making some fairly belligerent demands about his client Jeffrey John getting yet another opportunity at the United States Championship. So that will take place in next week's main event, fans. So make sure you are back with us here on YouTube to see all of that go down. But for this edition, my name is Aaron Hurt. Thank you for joining us, and keep watching PWA. For more wrestling excitement from PWA, subscribe to this channel or click on the links for more great action.